Hey folks, so we finally reached the 1K subscribers, and thank you everybody who following us and stay with us in our journey. It's super important to me and my wife Lilia, so that always record me when I'm talking. So just stay connected, share the videos, and bring more friends to our community. So today we will talk about the personal knowledge graph. I have a lot of videos about the personal knowledge graphs and so on. So we moving the big technology of the big tech and enterprises more to the user space, and I have a lot of videos about the personal knowledge graphs. But if you're talking about the artificial intelligence powered applications and the knowledge graphs, they take the central place in the memory, because right now we have a lot of rugs that are graph based, long chain have the graph inference and all those things. But we have one big problem with this, that we have the missed database for such thing. And I'm looking for such database for a long time, and I talk a couple of times about this, that for the artificial intelligence RAC centric applications, we need couple of capabilities that just absent in a classical databases, no matter what of the database you will take, because we need the capability of the graph and ability to build the graphs. And I will told you more that for the really IE powerful applications, the graphs is not enough. We need the hypergraphs, and it's a separate topic how the hypergraphs and multimodal embeddings could play the big role in information systems. Maybe it's a topic for the next time, but we need the graph capabilities, we need the vector search and the vector embeddings and the possibility to really measure the distance of the different information data points. And in the same time, we have the data that are classical tabular data that we still wants to store to maintain the application. So somehow we need a hybrid of the vector search, hypergraph, and the relational data model that for sure supports some documents from time to time. And as you know, it's not such database on the market, but we understand the databases a bit wrongly, because on the interview you usually get asked that compare the relational database with the document storage and SQL and NoSQL, and we create this border. But on practice, if you will take a look to the modern relational databases like Postgres, it's not a relational database anymore. And actually, Postgres was never the relational database in a pure sense of it, because you could build the key value storages with the JSON-B and JSON data type. You could build effective document storages. And with the extensions like PG Vector, you had the vector search. With the AGP, you had the graph capabilities. And even if you will take the Transact SQL and SQL Server from the Microsoft, you already have the graph capabilities in a not so elegant way, but you could declare that some tables are the node tables, some tables are the age tables, and you capable to run some tricky graph queries. So on practice, we live in a world where we have the hybrid databases that still stay in the relational model, simply because people just understand it, and people understand how to write SQL, and maybe they not so good understand how to write Cipher. And the missed database actually should be probably the relational database with some graph capabilities and the vector search. So the closest database that give us this ability actually is the CosoDB. And I really like what the Coso community do and how elegant they solve the problem of the graphs, because they say that, yeah, we could build a graph, but it still could be the relational. And we get to this quite interesting space that I'm discovering for a long time, and I have a couple of links on my Medium where I show how we could do the rational or relational graphs. So you still have the relational model and some classical tables, but you represent the nodes and edges in this setup. What's not work well in the relational graphs that you have some complex entities. And my solution to the complex entities as the nodes, it's to go forward and store the JSON or JSON B of the entity. And then we get to the space where we have the relational graph model with the documents as a nodes. So we have the document-oriented database that's stored in the relational manner, and it could be even more mind-blowing because JSON is quite flexible format, and relational databases, even the SQLite and the PG, have the ability to query the JSON and build the indexes on top of the JSON quite effectively. But it's quite interesting story that we could store in a JSON the linked data and the triples, and actually it's a graph itself. So we could store in a JSON some graphs in the format of the JSON LD. And JSON LD deserves the separate talk because it's the format that represents the linked data, and it's super easy way how you could transform the JSON LD documents to the full-scale triple store. And then we have something extremely powerful because you have the relational model that could store the graph and give you effective ability to use the SQL to the graph analysis. It's a separate topic and separate discussion. Yeah, you could do a lot of graph analysis in SQL, but you could store something that could be effective subgraph of the linked data, and it's mind-blowing in a ability to model hypergraphs and IE-powered applications. So the BC database is not there, but if you based on the server, you could build a lot of interesting features together with the PG and some extensions of the PG like PG Vector, AGP and all other things. If you run yourself on the phone and you need to be the local fast, the CozoDB is quite interesting guy that you should try. And actually, I still believe in a powerful mechanism of the SQLite that actually have the ability to build the extensions. And it will be quite interesting topic to discover. So the missing database for the artificial intelligence doesn't exist, but the closest one, it's the SQLite with the bunch of extensions, or the PG Postgres with the bunch of extensions, or maybe CozoDB as a yet another good example. But we need the vector search, we need the graph capabilities, and we need still the model that the regular developers could understand, because yet another good candidate that unfortunately do not run on the embedded mode, but is quite powerful in terms of the ability to model hypergraphs, it's the Terminus DB. But the problem with the Terminus DB that it's a quite heavy project that you need to host on server, and it's cost a lot because their model is quite custom languages that people need to learn, and the adoption is quite low. So that's all that I was keen to share with you today. Stay connected, subscribe to our channels, follow us on Medium, bring your friends. If you have the questions, just drop me a message. Choose.